Shift our focus to Mpumalanga now, where Sheba Gold Mine says it has blocked all known supply routes used by illegal miners, but the company admits the site's network of shafts and tunnels make it nearly impossible to seal off completely. More than 500 Zamazamas have been arrested at the mine since last week as part of police Operation Umkoti to combat illegal mining. Mongezi Koko is in Mpumalanga.
Following Friday's mass arrest, another 24 illegal miners were detained yesterday and 28 more today. Police say these latest groups went even deeper underground to avoid detection. The mine says its underground system stretches for kilometers with hidden access points scattered across dense bush and steep terrain. While all identified supply routes have been blocked, secret or makeshift entries are hard to detect and often reopened by illegal miners. Security teams continue to patrol both above and below ground in a bid to flush out anyone still inside. Mine spokesperson Heathen Hira.
For their own safety and for the safety of communities around us, it is illegal. It is not sustainable, it is not legal, it is against the law, and we need to put a stop to that.
Official mining operations continue, but authorities expect more illegal miners to surface in coming days. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Barberton.
The ad hoc committee looking into allegations of corruption made by KZN Police Commissioner Ntantam Kwanazi will finalize its terms of reference by Friday. This was confirmed during the committee's first meeting today. At that meeting, the ANC's Soviet Lekhanyane was appointed to chair the committee. This means the 18-member multi-party team can now begin the process of investigating Mkwanazi's allegations of corruption in the police service. During his opening address, Lekhanyane said the committee needs to do its work in the best interest of all South Africans.
Those communities, those victims that do not have voices or could not be represented here, but have elected us to be members of parliament, believe that we will represent them to the best of our abilities.
In the courts now, Patriotic Alliance Deputy President Kenny Kunene has once again been ordered to apologize to EFF leader Julius Malema for calling him a cockroach. In a decision handed down this morning, the Gauteng High Court has dismissed Kunene's appeal of an Equality Court judgment which ruled that his words amounted to hate speech. On the 17th of November in 2021, Kunene called Malema a cockroach 4 times during a televised interview on ENCA. Tabiso Koba has more.
Following the 2021 local government elections, the ANC and Patriotic Alliance announced they would be working together in a number of hung municipalities. In response, EFF leader Julius Malema said the ANC was working with the party of Amabantinti, referring to the fact that the PA's President Gaten McKenzie and Deputy President Kenny Kunene are ex-convicts. Reacting to Malema's comments, Kunene called the EFF leader a cockroach that he will deal with. During the appeal, Kunene's lawyers argued this was political free speech. However, Judge David Wilson disagrees, saying the word cockroach has harmful connotations to it and can be reasonably perceived to be an incitement to violence. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And in Japan, authorities are investigating the cause of a blaze which left 1 person injured at a fireworks festival in Yokohama. Local police say the event organizer reported a malfunction in the fireworks launch system which went out of control. The blaze broke out on 2 boats being used to launch the fireworks. 5 workers were rescued after jumping into the sea. The event's website says around 20,000 fireworks were scheduled to be launched over a 25-minute span. The organizing committee has apologized for the incident. Gold is trading at $3,365.70 an ounce. The rand is at 18.04 to the dollar, 23.95 to the pound, 20.81 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.76 a barrel.
Well, at this stage, if you're heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, there's bumper-to-bumper traffic on Main Reef Road. This is between Nasrec Road and the M2. Also slow-moving traffic. This is if you're traveling through Midrand heading towards Sandton. There's an accident seen on the N1 southbound near New Road, causing huge delays all the way from Olifantsfontein Road.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: 4 suspected criminals have been killed in a shootout with police in Randfontein on the West Rand.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app. Let's talk.
We're listening. You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Seven minutes after 1 o'clock. Welcome to 7:02 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Tuesday, the 5th of August. Guys, you know what I just realized? It's exactly a month till I turn 40. As I'm reading 5 August, time is moving so quickly. I cannot believe it. Let me just take a moment. We're kicking off by finding out from all of you. Tell us where you live and what your observation is on the major suburbs or your suburbs that you feel are neglected in the province. There's a gentleman, and we will play the clip, who was expressing that in his view, his suburb is the most neglected. So not only do I want you to tell us about what your suburb is, but what are you measuring when you say it is neglected? I'd love to hear from you. Our tech feature will be talking about how fully digital plug-and-play stores are changing retail. We'll be joined by Michael Clampett, who is Asset and Property Management Executive. The second hour of the show, we kick off with our series edition. It's a brand new month. So this Women's Month for our series, we will be chatting #FemEffect with Femagene. And this first episode, we're going to talk about finding your voice in a noisy world. We'll be joined by Luna Ndamase, who is the first princess of Miss Teenager South Africa 2024 and 2025, for that conversation. Then our car feature, Nickel Loads, coming through. He takes all of your technical car questions. And we also will talk about how software engineers calibrate car engines to reduce warranty costs. So the lines will be open to you. 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M, at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Which are the suburbs that you feel are the most neglected in Gauteng? And I'm happy to include not just the suburbs, even townships. But what has inspired this conversation is a gentleman that was sharing where he feels has been most neglected in the whole of Gauteng. Now, if you live in a suburb or wherever it is that you live that you feel is most neglected, you would definitely be speaking from first-hand experience. I'm curious as to what you use to measure which areas have been totally neglected, like terribly neglected, and where the problems are sitting. How do you measure? And it doesn't have to be where you live. Maybe there are places where you grew up, where you drive past now and you're like, what has happened to this place? I saw somebody showing Marabastad, saying this place has completely changed, that it is just worse than it has ever been. So I want to hear from you, and we'll take your calls on 011 883 0702, the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702 for your messages and your voice notes, for you to share with all of us what exactly you use to measure that your area where you stay, be it a suburb or a township, has been totally neglected. Now, for the person who I happen to see expressing about this place, he goes by at the Vijev, Vijev on TikTok. And this is what he has to say.
Guys, I want to talk about Randburg, the specific suburb in Johannesburg. If you guys know, you know. Randburg has been neglected so much. I believe it's the most neglected suburb, major suburb of Johannesburg. I was driving today through Malibongwe Drive, all the way to the other end, and the roads are melted. They're melted away to the side. And I have to drive like this around to get, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Guys, have you noticed what melted, parting ways? There has been no maintenance. The street lights hardly work. I think every time I enter Randburg through Malibongwe, there's no robots working. As a result, there's always traffic. And because of that, there are always accidents. And because of the accident, we had to wait 20, 30 minutes, bumper to bumper, waiting for people to clear out the cars that were blocking the road. It's been a problem for a while, but now it's really bad. Have you noticed the same thing? What do we do? Why is this specific area really, really badly managed? Is it because Randburg is just too large? It needs to be looked after. What can we do? Please, who can we talk to?
And valid questions indeed to ask, okay, what can we do? So he is referencing Randburg, which is quite a big area, but there are other areas that you might feel are neglected. You might say Sandton is neglected, but because you live on the other side of the bridge. It might be your township. And if you are from Randburg, in reference to that specific voice note, share with us if you agree with what the individual has said. We go to the lines on 011 8830702 in the WhatsApp line 072 7021 702. Newo in Soweto. Oh my goodness. I think we seem to have a challenge. Just give us 1 second because I see our screen did light up of trying to answer Newa's call. Newa, hi.
Hi, are you well? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm well. Thank you.
I'm also good. I just wanted to say Kliptown, and two reasons. One is they're still using mobile toilets, and it's so bad. I mean, community members are still fighting around, who's going to be getting the cleaning, not contract, but who's going to be getting the cleaning opportunity for the toilets and all of that. The second one is that, the communities around them, they are fixing roads, putting pavements and all of that. And one of the main roads that goes to Kliptown is it's not even a road anymore. And I think Kliptown is the most neglected. And just to think about the history of Kliptown and all of that, I must say it's very sad.
And for you, what are the other things you use to measure? I mean, you've spoken about the toilet situation and roads. What are the other things that you look at that maybe a person who isn't in Kliptown wouldn't consider as it being neglected? Maybe things that used to work properly before.
Well, roads, parks, parks. I think it's some of those things I'd look at. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you so much, Neo. And where else in Soweto, seeing as you're from Soweto, have you seen? Are there areas that you're like, actually, there are areas in Soweto that you are seeing improvement?
I think some of the, I think inner Soweto, maybe, your deep flus, your pin, well, not inner, but your deep flus, your pin bills, some instances, some of the improvements. I see Protea Glen, there's a lot of development that side. There's some, improvements that side. But I would say the other communities that are not, let me say, not older communities, just Soweto, like the Freedom Parks, those are, I would say, are more neglected than the others. But, the other communities, I would say they are minor improvements there. I must say that the NGO sector as well is playing a huge role in terms of, trying to participate in some of those improvements, either by centers, child parks, and all of that.
Okay, thank you so much, Neo, for sharing, saying Kliptown is being neglected. We go to the WhatsApp line. A message says, "Good day, Relebogile. My neglected township is Lehigh in the south of Joburg. The place has been just left like that. There's no clinic, no development anywhere around it. The roads have never been maintained." Another one coming through. Sunnyside, Pretoria, and Pretoria West. It is so bad there. Please share with us where specifically in Pretoria West. But Sunnyside, I have not been there for a while, but I have not heard positive things about Sunnyside. We go again to the lines. Tato in Santon. Hi, go ahead.
Hi, the travesty of the Val. The Val is filthy. And Rona Bathoka Soweto, I think we must complain less. Well looked after. Soweto is very clean. I understand the concerns about Pimville, but guys, the Val. It is right on the doorstep. We are to go Val.
So how bad is it? What are you seeing?
I think the truck of Val, they must call and tell you. I attended a funeral there 2 weeks ago. Sills right on the doorstep, burning, smelly sills right on the doorsteps of people's homes. Sebokeng, Everton, Sharpeville, it needs serious attention. But I think the locals don't see it because they don't go out. So they've normalized the situation. But when you come out of Rockville, Soweto, when you come out of Deep Kloof or Pimville, and you drive out for an hour out of Soweto to there, that's when you see that actually you're privileged for being a Sowetan.
Yo. Tato, thank you so much in Santon. People from Val, is it this bad? Let us know. Ricardo in Johannesburg, hi.
How are you doing?
Good, thanks, and you?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I work in an area called Stafford, which is just at the bottom end of Elof Street Extension. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you drive down that road, the traffic lights have been vandalized 6 times. They replaced them 6 times last year. Behind the premises that I work at, there's a road called Station Road. There used to be a station that has been vandalized completely. And now it's just a huge squatter camp on the railway line. There's plastic recyclers. I've got 3 waste dumps around our premises.
Sure.
So if people take a drive down there, you can see the filth, and nothing's been done about it.
Ricardo, and I think the waste one is such a big issue. And just picking up on what Tato said, some of the areas are not even fully aware that they have issues because they haven't left their areas. So, we need to take a break. I see your calls and I see your messages. 011 883 0702. The WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
As things stands now, Mayor, out of 10, how do you rate the improvement now in service delivery?
In terms of issue, and I don't want to exaggerate this, I can say that we are now sitting at 4. And then in terms of waste collection, that's where our challenge is. We can give ourselves 1. In terms of roads, I can give the municipality 2 to 3%.
So in a nutshell, yes, there is improvement, but there's still a general failure at the end of the day.
You know, Clement, for you to improve first, you need to start from the beginning. And the beginning is where we are saying that we do acknowledge these failures and we don't want to hide them.
Sipho Khadebe, who's the executive mayor of Mfuleni local municipality.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Franchise your future with the vision to invest, the mindset to follow a proven system, and the drive to grow something of your own. But what does it take to build a business that thrives? Find out on Franchise Your Future on Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters on 702. Franchise Your Future brings you real stories and future-ready insights from the bold minds who've built proven models of success and the driven entrepreneurs who followed the recipe and made it their own. And if you're ready to take that first step, Cash Converters is giving away 10,000 Rand to help kickstart your journey to franchise your future. Enter now at primemediaplus.com and tell us why you want to open a franchise. Then catch Franchise Your Future every Tuesday from 1 p.m. on Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters. Your money, your momentum on 702. Let's walk the talk.
So, Taryn, you've just graduated cum laude, but nothing says you're a genius quite like selling your car to We Buy Cars.
Absolutely. My car was an 18th birthday present, and it's time to move on to something a bit more mature.
So, where did you hear about We Buy Cars?
All of my friends are using We Buy Cars. I would have had legit FOMO if I hadn't used them. And it was so quick. I did it on my laptop while sending around my CV.
Smart move, Taryn. Graduated and upgraded. We Buy Cars. Geared for success, geared for you.
So we did a thing. A full commitment kind of thing. We've partnered with Sixt to bring worldwide to your doorstep. So, you see how that's a serious thing? Because that's what you deserve. We know you're the GOAT. So, premium it is. Premium service, premium vehicles, premium you, premium us. Sani Sixt is all about adding extra to ordinary. Extra reach, extra countries, so you can be extra premium worldwide. Be the greatest of all time and rent Sani Sixt.
You know the one, the steakhouse that never misses. The sizzle hits the table. The seasoning is spot on. And for a moment, everything else fades away. Whether it's your go-to for big celebrations or just a well-deserved Friday night treat, they've earned your loyalty with every bite. Now's your chance to say, I see you. Nominate your favorite spot for Gauteng's greatest steakhouse at primemediaplus.com, because Gauteng isn't just the hub of business, it's the home of excellence, and excellence deserves your applause. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko counterfuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point of sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
The full impact of the Trump tariffs of 30% for most of our goods to the US still sinking in. Our government giving a fuller reaction, essentially saying they'll keep trying to negotiate. They try and support firms that are about to lose a huge amount of business.
There should be a crisis committee that is actually put in place. Let's adapt the template that we have from NICOP, from NLCC, to deal with these trade challenges.
Relebogile Mabotja was the CEO at Business Leadership South Africa.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB. ABSA is a proud lead sponsor of B20 South Africa 2025. ABSA is a registered FSP. Your story matters. 702, let's walk the talk. 702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we're talking about the suburbs, the cities, the towns, the townships that you feel are the most neglected in Gauteng. Tell me why and how it is you measure. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 702. Tap off from the Val. Earlier somebody called in saying the Val is terrible. How is it going there?
I'm good, Lebo. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, no, just wanted to comment from the previous caller about the Val. Yeah, no, the whole region, the whole region in Val, it's rotten, from the townships to the suburbs. You see, I used to stay in Sebokeng. I stayed there for 7 years. And then there was a storage that was flowing. For that 7 years that I stayed there, the storage was flowing for that 7 years. And then I moved, I'm staying the other side of town, but still there's potholes everywhere, dumping sites everywhere. So Val is literally rotten, rotten, and the municipality is beyond the grave. It can't be resuscitated. It's beyond the grave.
So, why is my English disappearing on me? In English, where are things going wrong? Sorry. Do you feel like it's the leadership? What do you think it is?
There's no political willing. So the politicians, I think everyone is corrupt this side. You understand?
Yeah, I hear you.
At my previous house where I used to stay, there's no meters, there's nothing, absolutely nothing. If they charge you, they just estimate to say no, will estimate so much for these people to pay the rates and taxes. and then we pay rates and taxes, but there's no services. Hence, I'm saying that there's dumping sites everywhere. There's potholes, not the small potholes that you are talking about in the Johannesburg, where they complain that no, there's potholes. I'm talking about grave in the middle of the road. Yeah, I'm talking about the big grave where you can bury someone in the middle of the main roads. And then storages that flows, the storages that flows wire, non-stop. Dumping sites everywhere, you see. So it's worse. It's bad this side. I went to at some point I went with my friends that were in from the Val. We went to Ekurhuleni. They were very surprised. They say Ekurhuleni there's no service delivery, but in Ekurhuleni these guys, because I think they've never been that side, they were very surprised to say in Vosloorus are these suburbs, because Ekurhuleni, I think Ekurhuleni are privileged. They are better than
so Aretse so Tshepone.
It's better than this side here.
Aretse so Tshepone, thank you for sharing. Tshepo saying Val is rotten. Sesha from Pretoria, you also grew up go Val.
I grew up in the Vaal, and my parents-in-law are still in the Vaal. And there's a running joke that is actually so sad, but the joke is, how do you know someone is not drunk in the Vaal? They drive straight because there's so many potholes.
Oh my gosh.
It is not even funny. The potholes, especially in Vaal Park, it's gravel. It's not even tar anymore. And also Sasolburg was once the town with the most beautiful and the most trees. There's so few trees left. There's a beautiful big circle with a fountain. The fountain hasn't run for years. It is just so sad. And the municipality is to blame because it's bankrupt and it is political influence stealing.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience, Sasha. So many people expressing about Val. I want to look at more of your messages, but before that, we've got some of your voice notes on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Relebogile. You're speaking to Busi. I just moved to Sonland Park in Vereeniging. The guy who said the Val, he is not lying. And I'm talking about whether it's the location or it's the suburbs, it's the same thing. Waste is not picked up. There's sewage, the streets, the potholes, there's no street lights, the whole Mfuleni. And I'm not talking only about the location. I stay in the suburb, but it's just the same. If you go to Midval, it's a different story. But Mfuleni, it's really, really bad. And mind you, we pay rates and taxes without fail, because if you don't, they will disconnect you. It's very sad.
Hi, Relebogile, Salon Centurion. There's a lot of neglect everywhere I drive, but I also think we are seeing levels of vandalism that we have never seen before. People steal, people strip things. I was dropping off my cousin at TUT in Sosha, and there's a guy that is pushing a wheelbarrow. He comes out of his house with a wheelbarrow with a pile of rubbish, and he pushes it across the road, and there's a bit of an open field there, and he goes and drops it there, and he goes back inside. What's wrong with our people? There's neglect on the left side, and there's also just vandalism and carelessness of our people on the right side.
Sure. That's a tough one. I'm seeing so many areas being mentioned. Mfuleni has been mentioned again. There are many other people saying Val is just in the gutters at the moment. Samkwenda on my TikTok live says, I from Soshanguve, I experienced being hijacked twice. Our African brothers are killing us. Sorry, I'm off topic. Well, you kind of are, because it depends. How do you measure if a place has been neglected? To me, if the safety in the area has changed, a place is being neglected. And the more affluent areas, I'm talking your Sandowns and what are these ones around Melrose Arc? You've got your North Cliffs. There are areas where they are not neglected, that you can make a phone call and things will happen. There are areas where you call the police, within 3 minutes. So I don't think neglect should only be reduced to potholes and trash and the roads being finished. Is it not also having access to services, emergency services immediately? We're going to pick this up when we come back from the news. It's just after 1:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. What is happening here with the chairperson role of Parliament's ad hoc committee?
Well, Relebogile, a very good afternoon. Opposition parties have voiced their unhappiness at having an ANC member elected as the chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is investigating allegations of police corruption. The ANC's Soviet Lekhanyane was elected unopposed to lead the ad hoc committee during its first meeting today. The committee is probing allegations made by KZN Provincial Police Commissioner Ntanta Mkhwanazi. 4 suspected criminals have been killed in a shootout with police in Randfontein on the West Rand today. Police say the men were intercepted by officers while they were allegedly planning the robbery of a businessman who was on his way to bank his money. Deputy Provincial Commissioner Fred Gegana says the suspects opened fire on the officers who tried to stop their vehicle. And Sheba Gold Mine says it has blocked all known supply routes used by illegal miners in Barberton, but the company admits the site's network of shafts and tunnels makes it nearly impossible to seal off completely. More than 500 Zamazamas have been arrested at the mine since last week as part of police Operation Valumkoti to combat illegal mining. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, heading in and out of the Joburg CBD, there's still bumper traffic. This is in the Amalgam area on a Main Reef Road between Nazareth Road and the M2. Some good news though, that accident seen in Midrand on the M1 South near New Road has been cleared. However, traffic remains a bit sluggish still, so avoid that route if you can. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land not looking too bad. Just look out for those faulty traffic lights in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and Mahogany. Traffic lights still not working in Alex at Marlborough Drive and Far East Bank. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
South Africa is scrambling now to find alternative measures and markets following the failure of negotiations on those tariffs imposed by US President. But how do you deal with a capricious interlocutor like Donald Trump?
What's important to recognize is they are a very big market and an important market for us. And we probably need to concretely address one or two of the policy issues.
Seems to me we've given them a lot of information they just don't want to hear. Dr. Stavros Nicolaou.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
At the heart of global conversations shaping the future, Africa's voice matters more than ever. As Africa's largest bank by assets and lead sponsor of the B20 Summit, Standard Bank Group is proud to spotlight the continent's growth partnerships and potential on the world stage. Through informed dialogue and powerful partnerships, Standard Bank is driving sustainable growth where it matters most. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
And there you go, your favorite latte, hot and ready.
You never disappoint.
Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, cool. Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
Hey, Jim, what's wrong? Hi, Bob. I'm just so confused. I'm trying to buy a car and I don't know where to stop. Well, have you tried to...
Cars.coza.
have you tried to...
Cars.coza.
Sorry, we're trying to do an advert.
Whatever car you want to buy or sell, cut through the and just go to cars.coza and let's find what moves you. Cars.coza.
Looking for real ways to live greener? Then don't miss Green Tip of the Week, your weekly dose of sustainable inspiration. From eco-entrepreneurs to climate champions, we sit down with the people making real change. Catch Green Tip of the Week every Tuesday on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman from 3 to 6 p.m. only on 702. Proudly brought to you by Volvo. It's safe to be brave with Volvo.
Your voice.
Your life.
Your afternoon radio.
On 702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Mabotja.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock rather, and we've been having a conversation about neglected suburbs, cities, townships in Gauteng. So all of Gauteng, chat to us about what makes them feel neglected. What are you using to measure? And we've got so many messages. I'm struggling to even keep up to try and give everybody an opportunity to share. Val has come out quite high up on this list of conversations. But let's hear from you on 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. Some of your Facebook messages. One says, others are better looking haunted than looking like Yeovil, Berea and Hillbrow. That's from Nokwanda. And then we have another person, Sire World ZW says, is it not Blowbosrand? It has to be Blowbosrand. Simpiwe says, Val as a whole. Yo, Kempton Park CBD is what Linda says. LG says, all of them. Vutomi says, I'm based in Alex, but Germiston, no man. So you're saying Germiston is worse than Alex. Elsa de Almeida says La Rochelle, Rosettenville, Turfontein, Malvern, the whole of Joburg City Centre. Ramusidedi says, Kempton Park, Germiston, what is going on with those two cities? Benoni is what Mukadzi has to say. Elsa also says, which suburbs are actually, the question you should be asking is, which suburbs are well maintained, because that's a shorter list. We go to the lines. Chari from Alberton, hi.
Hi, Relebogile, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, I'm calling from Alberton, but I stay in Benoni.
Yes.
Benoni, Actonville, it's very bad.
Ooh.
Very, very bad. I had reported water burst about 3 months ago, twice. And every time it is reported that it has been, the case is being closed, but the water is running as I speak to you now. This is now for the past 3 months. Okay.
Just they're continuing to run. Nobody's coming to fix it.
Nobody for 3 months.
Sure. And that's a tricky one.
And the worst part, the street is even very, very dirty. The streets are quite dirty. But to me, my main concern is the water. Water that has been running there for the past 3 months, 24 hours a day. That's very bad.
Chari, thank you so much for sharing your feedback there. On the WhatsApp line, I agree Randburg is a dump. Water disruptions, no traffic lights, potholes, no street lights. They dig up the pipes and then leave it like that for months. It is terrible. Afternoon level, the whole of Johannesburg is becoming a disaster. The daily route is Mayfair, Braamfontein, Hillbrow, Parktown. No robots working. Potholes are getting larger every day. Traffic is a mess every day. High level, I'm in Birch Acres, Kempton Park. Bylaws are neglected in our area. Car mechanics, vendors, car washes, shisanyamas popping up all over, even next to main roads, is what that says. Relebogile, Cosmos City roads are so bad. They were last maintained when Zuma was spread. Sorry, guys, I should not be laughing. But the way the person is saying, which right now feels like a lifetime ago, if they maintained, they only do the main roads, but the roads within the township are so bad. Ooh. Another person says, Santon. Anonymous, one of the most neglected suburbs in Gauteng is also Mayfair. We still take our drives as that was once home. It is so sad to see what's happened there. It is dirty. It's not well looked after. Sewage flows in certain parts. The roads are getting worse by the day. And let's not get into the constant water and electricity issues. And I saw some messages coming through on TikTok. Ian says Diepsloot. Jules Newton says Kensington, neglected. Another person says Ward 58, Homestead Park, saying our community park has been invaded and is being used to breed cows. And then they're showing images of tons of rubbish. It looks like a dump site. They've also shared a video. Okay, it's literally like next to a complex. It's rubbish, it's sewage, and then there's cows. There's a lot going on. We go to the voice notes on 072 702 on 702.
Good afternoon, Relebogile. Good show as always. Lebo, I myself live in the township, but I normally go to Randburg if I want to use some banks and other things. Randburg is deteriorated. The shopping center, Randburg CBD. I went to KFC the other time with my daughter. I couldn't even eat properly. While you're sitting there eating, some homeless people comes and ask for some donations. I'm not dissing homeless people as per se, but what I'm saying is even the security around that area feels so. Everything else is neglected. Randburg is something else. It has deteriorated. It's not a joke. Thanks, Lebo. It's Tembi.
Afternoon, Relebogile. This concept of the municipalities not looking after areas, just generally throughout the country, the concept of metros is a failure. They can't cope because the areas and the divergent requirements are so different. We need to rethink this and perhaps go back to having municipalities that are closer to the people and their areas and their needs. Even the metro in the Western Cape, Cape Town, you hear of outlying people crying that there was once a municipality or local municipality is now left in the dark without services. This whole thing of metros perhaps needs to go. Have a good afternoon, Tom.
You, Relebogile. Hey, yeah, no, that's 100% true what the caller just said on that recording. 100% true. I said the same thing last week to my son when I went to go drop him off. I said, the last time when I was your age and I came to Randburg was so beautiful. Now, it's a disaster. It looks worse. It looks like Hillbrow now.
Hi, I totally appreciate how all these suburbs are ruined, but I'm desperate for someone to put some lines or lanes on the M1 going from at least, even if it's just Killarney to Woodmead. You can't see where you're going in the rain or the dark, and it's actually dangerous. Someone should just do the highway lines so we can see what's going on.
Hi, Relebogile. Anonymous here. I grew up in a place called Botshabelo, east of Bloemfontein in the Free State. In my section, which is section S, we still use pit toilets. And if you need a municipality to come and drain your toilet, that only happens if there's a funeral. If you produce like a death certificate, only then they come to drain the toilet. But it's still pit toilets. If it's full, you need to dig up another hole and move it over there. This is just how it is.
Hello, Relebogile, Tyron Randburg. About Randburg, absolutely disastrous. Some robots have been down for almost 3 years, never been fixed, never working. Potholes, they're trying to deal with that a little bit. But Randburg and those roads he's talking about, it was never built correctly. Those roads, heavy trucks have actually collapsed those roads on Molobongwe.
Let's go to Patrick in Pretoria. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Levo. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm okay.
Mm.
Hey,
there is this road, Murula Road, Mabopane Unit M, next to Lehigh Mediclinic. It is flowing, the sewage flowing all over across that road. And when you come from Soshanguve, that's the only road to cross into that medical facility. This has been ongoing for a number of months. It's sewage, it's water, the road is even damaged by that water.
Sure. And Patrick, it's such a pity, guys. The diseases. And we haven't even spoken about the fact that our gutters are in such a state. All the areas that keep flooding, what do you think is happening there? What do you think is happening there? But I want to read a message which maybe will answer the question that was asked. Janet says Bedford View has a residents' action group directed by Marina Constas, and they are doing good work. It seems residents working together can achieve quite a lot, but they pay for it, while councillors do nothing and get salaries. Management skills are few and far between. Thank you so much, Janet, for that message. I have seen that to be the case. I have family in Bedford View where if you want security, you all club together to close off your street. You all club together, but what for the people who don't have the money? And maybe we need to pick up the conversation of, okay, now that we know that these places are neglected, what can we do about it?
Before the president has his national dialogue,
The people will have theirs.
this Wednesday, join Clement Maniatela for the People's Dialogue.
On 702.
The questions won't be scripted, the truths won't be polished.
But the voices will be heard.
Dear Mr. President,
Lend us your ears.
because before policies, there are people.
And before power, there is accountability.
The People's Dialogue with Clement Maniatela.
You've watched, you've waited.
Now you speak.
To the country, to the president,
to each other.
Wednesday, 6 August.
From 9 to 12, only on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Don't miss out on the Powerball jackpot, estimated at a mind-blowing 124 million rand this Tuesday. Dare to dream big by playing Powerball now for the estimated 124 million rand jackpot and your chance at multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial star 120 star 7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
It all starts with FNB Private. With secure, easy payments for a hassle-free overseas holiday. Tap, swipe, or go digital with your FNB Visa cards. Earn rewards when using your FNB credit card or global account debit and virtual card. You can even fund your global account on the FNB app while traveling. Make the most of every moment. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider. TCs, earn rules and limits apply.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's early spring season features a stellar lineup of international and local talent. Enjoy favorites by Mozart, Beethoven, and Tchaikovsky. Concerts run at the Linda Auditorium on Thursday evenings from 7 to 28 August. Book at Quicket. Visit jpo.co.za for more info.
This tech feature is brought to you by Nilo, trusted in hosting.
This tech feature is brought to you by Nilo, trusted in hosting. And for today's tech feature at 10 minutes to 2 o'clock, we are chatting to Michael Clampett, who is an asset and property management executive, around how fully digital plug-and-play stores are changing retail. And of course, we want to hear from you. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Michael, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Please tell us what exactly is this concept of a fully digital plug and play store?
Yeah, let me try to sum it up in a nutshell. It's actually been around at Mall of Africa for a year and a half. This is something we first spotted in the UK just after COVID. They lost some big retailers in their high streets, and there was a way to activate some of those high streets again. So effectively, it's a space that we fitted out. It's got a lot of screens. It's got some technology or content management back-end system. And what it does is it allows online-only brands or up-and-coming brands to lease it from us on a very short period of time, but upload their brand, their identity on this content management system, and effectively within a day have a store ready to trade.
Oh, so as opposed to what usually would happen, which is you now need to customize the space and put your drywalling up and then have your store designer come in and see where you're going to brand. And how long does that process usually take?
Yeah, that's correct. I think the barriers for entry for people to enter, let's rather call it in the physical bricks and mortar retail environment, is very high. Either the landlord requires you to sign a 5-year lease, something that small businesses don't necessarily want to sign up to, that kind of risk and liability, or you have to fit up the own store, your own cost. It's architects, it's design, manufacturing of the premises fit out itself. So effectively what this allows up-and-coming and online-only brands to do is to enter in a risk-free environment, test it out. If it doesn't work in the physical environment, that's okay. You've only paid the rent for the 1 day or the 1 week, and if it hasn't worked out, it's fine.
I cannot believe that you can rent it out for as little as 1 day.
Yeah, I think what we've seen in practice, although it's very much rentable on a daily basis, most brands prefer to take it for a whole week or maybe just a weekend. To give their presence in Mall of Africa a bit more than just 1 day only. But we've had some very successful 1 day only activations. The one that comes to mind is when Tyler won a Grammy, we did a deal with Sony. So it's not only sort of up-and-coming retail brands. We could also do a deal with the entertainment industry where they let it from us for 1 day. It was branded, of course, with Tyler's merchandise and a brand, and she was there to meet her fans for 1 day only.
And I think that's so brilliant. Now, I'm curious, Michael, was that by any chance the same spot where there was that scandal of Rhodes where they were did a pop-up store of that international beauty brand? Sorry, I should not be laughing.
Correct.
Is that the same spot?
It's the same spot. So we were very fortunate there to catch it really quick. And I must say, it does show you the power of social media.
Michael, I lost you for a second. You were just saying that it shows the power of social media because it was actually people online that started saying, but we're not seeing the actual brand head office saying anything about this pop-up. Is it legit? Michael? Oh my goodness. I hope we haven't lost Michael, but let's do this. I'm going to pass him back to the producer while we try to get him back and to chat about this. But for those of you that are in real retail, share if this is something that you would be open to doing and exploring. I think it's brilliant that you're able to also test out the market for yourself to say, hey, is there room for a physical store? You can go and do your little bit of research as to the foot traffic, the interest, and to see what could work. So we've got Michael back. So Michael, I lost you when you were saying social media caught it out.
Yes, apologies for that. I'm at the retail conference in Cape Town, so just using one of the meeting rooms at the moment. So
no
I
problem.
Hope the signal doesn't drop again. So what I meant by the power of social media was actually our shoppers at Mall of Africa and those following that brand alerted us very quickly that something was amiss. And of course, although our management team did a due diligence on whoever the occupier was for that week, we could act very quickly once we found out that information. So I think that's part of the risk. This flexibility allows us to host anyone. And then, of course, we need to make sure we do our due diligence properly.
Okay, so in terms then of what is the bare minimum, there's so many small business owners that are listening and they might be thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to test this out, or maybe my online store can just be a 1 day pop-up. What is the minimum entry to be able to explore this opportunity?
Yes, I get asked this often, and I'm apologizing. I'm going to sound like a politician. So definitely get in touch with us. So we've got a number of objectives here. So once maybe let me state some of the objectives. We want a retail environment that's not stale and static. The mall mustn't feel like the same mall for 5 years because all the tenants look the same. So when you're an up-and-coming brand, when you've got a bit of hype behind you, or maybe you blew up on social media, we'll definitely want you to be in that space, and the pricing will accommodate. But we've had a number of other case studies, maybe the Tyler one I mentioned earlier, but we've also had existing big brands like the TFG Group or Pepkor that wanted to try out some of the new brands, and then we allow them to take the space for. But then, the rental or the that you would sign for a proper lease for. So I think it's flexible. It depends on the user you're going to make to the Mall of Africa.
All right, we've got a caller with a question. Kurt in Four Ways, go ahead.
Question. I mean, I would love to know, do you guys do you actually offer the opportunity to do a physical activation where we would have, for example, a small pop-up store alongside the digital activation, so that we can also kind of, bring some of the products to life by people physically seeing the product, but also link it to the digital side of things?
Do you mean digital as in provided by the mall hosting, or digital that you are doing?
Exactly what Michael's talking about now.
Okay.
In terms of, the branding and the online presence and all that. But I would like to physically have a pop-up store where I actually bring some of my products that I'm selling on this online platform to the actual store itself.
That is exactly what it is. So maybe I wasn't clear at the start. This is a 200 square meter actual pop-up store, but pop-up stores sometimes are not great. It's a space that was left vacant by a previous tenant. Maybe there's no tiles. Maybe there's just an exposed ceiling. This is actually already fitted out by Mall of Africa. It's got the digital screens in place that allows us to showcase your brand. It's also got modular furniture that you can move around as you see fit and as you need. So it's a physical place to physically showcase your product in a pop-up way, but enabled digitally, i.e. you can load up your brand, you can load up your whatever you want to make that store feel like yours. The screen on the outside of the store will have your logo on it. It'll be your store for the time that you rent it. It'll look and feel like it. And your physical products will be inside the store.
Kurt, thank you so much for that question and that call. Michael, what is the biggest challenge that you are facing at the moment, if any, with this? Is it getting people to buy into the idea, or is it this early stage of trying to actually share with people what it is?
No, it's been beyond successful in terms of our expectations. So currently our occupation rate is running at about 95%. We've seen such demand. Initially, we had a number of strategies to make sure people know about it. We had some celebrity occupiers, etc. But that seemed to work really well. A lot of people now know about the space. So, you have to do a booking probably 2 to 3 months in advance to get space.
Thank you so much, Michael. Just let us know how to get in touch if people are interested in using the space.
So if you go to the Mall of Africa website, click on the link for Souk, you will land on a booking platform. All the details with regard to how to make a booking will be on that web link.
Michael Klempert, thank you so much for chatting to us on our tech feature for today on how fully digital plug-and-play stores are changing retail. Sounds like such a wonderful opportunity, particularly for small businesses, and I hope you check it out, the first one at Mall of Africa. Now, at Nilo, they know that every big idea needs the right foundation. From web hosting, high-performance self-managed servers, and cloud hosting, they're here to help you grow with the reliability you need and service you can trust. Because when your foundation is strong, your vision can go further. Big ideas need strong foundations. Build yours with Nilo. In the next hour of the show, we're going to be having our series edition with Fem Effect with Femagene, and our car feature. Get your technical car questions in early. It's 2:00.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Opposition parties have voiced their unhappiness at having an ANC member elected as the chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police corruption. The ANC's Soviet Lekhanyane was elected unopposed to lead the ANC ad hoc committee during its first meeting today. The committee is probing allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Babalondenze reports.
Soviet Lekhanyane was confirmed as the chairperson to lead the 18-member multi-party committee that will investigate several allegations of police malfeasance and political interference. But Action SA MP Derelene James says while they note Lekhanyane's election, it would have been more fitting to elect someone from a party whose members are not implicated, in reference to suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu.
But how do we garner public trust here this morning when we have a chairperson that has been elected from the very party where most of these people are embroiled in?
But Lekhanyane defended his nomination, saying he represents the country's interests.
I was not sworn here through the law of the ANC. There is only one law which we used to say in members of parliament. That is the Republic, the law of the Republic of South Africa.
Parties will now make submissions on the committee's terms of reference, which must be finalized before close of business on Friday. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Let's stay with the National Assembly. The DA wants Defence Minister Angie Motshekga to be summoned before the Joint Standing Committee on Defence to answer for a missing 813 million rand meant to be allocated to soldiers' allowances. The DA has written to the National Assembly to escalate what it refers to as a failure to get to the bottom of funds unaccounted for by the Army. The party also wants Motshekga to account to Parliament for the DRC deployment where 14 soldiers were killed earlier this year. DA MP Nicholas Gotzels accuses committee co-chairperson Malusi Gigaba of shielding the minister and the South African National Defence Force from scrutiny.
Malusi Gigaba has turned the Joint Standing Committee of Defence into a political shield for Minister Motshekga, blocking Parliament from getting answers about the missing 813 million rand in troop allowances. The DA has therefore written to the House chairpersons of the National Assembly and the National Council of Provinces to ensure that Minister Motshekga comes to answer.
4 suspected criminals have been killed in a shootout with police in Randfontein on the West Rand today. Police say the men were intercepted by officers while they were allegedly planning the robbery of a businessman who was on his way to bank his money. Deputy Provincial Police Commissioner Fred Kekana says the suspects opened fire on the officers who tried to stop their vehicle.
The police wanted to stop them. They wanted them to surrender and hand over their firearms, and they arrest them for possession of those firearms and other crimes. But then by them challenging the police had no choice but to defend themselves and the property. At the end, last men and women standing are the police. 4 of the suspects are lying dead today. Good.
In Mpumalanga now, Sheba Gold Mine says it has blocked all known supply routes used by illegal miners, but the company admits the site's network of shafts and tunnels makes it nearly impossible to seal off completely. More than 500 Zamazamas have been arrested at the mine since last week as part of police Operation Vala Umkoti to combat illegal mining. Mungezi Koko is in Mpumalanga.
Following Friday's mass arrest, another 24 illegal miners were detained yesterday and 28 more today. Police say these latest groups went even deeper underground to avoid detection. The mine says its underground system stretches for kilometers with hidden access points scattered across dense bush and steep terrain. While all identified supply routes have been blocked, secret or makeshift entries are hard to detect and often reopened by illegal miners. Security teams continue to patrol both above and below ground in a bid to flush out anyone still inside. Mine spokesperson Heathen Hira.
For their own safety and for the safety of communities around us, it is illegal. It is not sustainable, it is not legal, it is against the law, and we need to put a stop to that.
Official mining operations continue, but authorities expect more illegal miners to surface in coming days. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Barberton.
And in Japan, authorities are investigating the cause of a blaze which left one person injured at a fireworks festival in Yokohama. Local police say the event organizer reported a malfunction in the fireworks launch system which went out of control. The blaze broke out on 2 boats being used to launch the fireworks. 5 workers were rescued after they jumped into the sea. The event's website says around 20,000 fireworks were scheduled to be launched over a 25-minute span. The organizing committee has apologized for the incident. Gold is trading at $3,353.32 an ounce. The rand is at 18.05 to the dollar, 23.96 to the pound, 20.82 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $68.76 a barrel.
Leaving Bedfordview, heading towards Edenville, there's an accident seen on the R24 westbound, rather on the R24 eastbound. Before the N12 split. This is causing huge delays all the way from the Gilulis interchange. Also look out for those faulty traffic lights in the Midrand area, Olifantsfontein Road and the N1, as well as in Bryanston at Winnie Mandela Drive in Sloane.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 23 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, opposition parties have voiced their unhappiness at having an ANC member elected as the chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing allegations of police corruption.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Your stories,
Your questions.
702 listens. You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. And guys, I'm so excited. We are starting a brand new series, #FemEffect with Femagene. And we'll be doing all things women empowerment in our series for this month and chatting to different ladies. Now, I know earlier on I said Luna Ndamase is going to be joining us. We've had a bit of a change around, but I promise you it's going to be a goodie. Cindy Poluta is going to be talking to us, and I'm so excited for this conversation because she's also a fellow mom. After that, we'll be joined by Nicole Lowe, our technical car expert, to take all of your technical car issues, but also to chat about how it is that software engineers calibrate car engines to reduce the warranty costs. Get in touch with us. Give us a call. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Series Edition.
The FemEffect Series Edition with me, Relebogile Mabotja, is brought to you by Femagene. Choose care that empowers. Choose Femagene. Care for all the woman you are every day. And in this first episode in our series, we are chatting to sportscaster, broadcaster. She jumps between 947 and 702. And somebody I used to engage with quite a bit when I was hosting Early Breakfast, Cindy Poluta. It's been a while, girl.
Well, good afternoon and welcome back to South Africa from your beautiful Paris trip, Relebogile. I've been so jealous.
Merci beaucoup.
How amazing.
Listen, girl, we just need to create more opportunities to be traveling, right? Because we need it also as moms.
We do. So it's very important to take time out, and it doesn't have to even be Paris. It can just be local. It can be an
It can be
afternoon.
Paris.
It can be whatever is well within your budget. You just
it can
need
even be Poluta
can.
di Chaba.
It can be maybe not the Vol, because apparently that's an area. I heard that. That's an area that's apparently not going well, guys. Mid-Vol, yes. Apparently the Vol is not happening. So yeah,
I'm so dead. But how important is it? Because something, and I'm glad you mentioned the travel thing. What I realized travel does for me is it gives me a sense of confidence, because there were parts of me that were like, firstly, I'm excited for being anonymous, but like in Europe, you walk, guys. You walk.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like here where we used to our cars. So there was a part of me that's like, am I going to cope? There's parts of the travel where it's going to be me and suitcases and trains. So there's this thing where you're like, oh my gosh. And because I'm a month from turning 40, there's this part of me that's like, I need to find all these confidence building activities. But it's hard when you're balancing our types of careers,
right,
plus being moms. Do you find a similar thing with yourself where you're like, sometimes I feel like my confidence as Cindy, not the mom or the whatever else, is like sort of dear Magar?
So firstly, to travel is such a beautiful thing, because when you travel, it's something that you've saved and budgeted for. So it's almost this false sense of I can afford it, right? Because you've given yourself spending money, and it buys you this freedom, and it takes you out of your usual routine, the cooking, the cleaning, the looking after other people, the worrying about other people. So yes, you're traveling with your family, or perhaps you're traveling alone. You're still worrying about your family, but it's a whole lot of different worries. It's not to school and back and homework and that huge mental load that comes with everyday life. I think in our job, and I don't know if you feel the same, I feel like who I am at work and who I am at home is two completely different people. I think with this job, I'm allowed to be Cindy.
Yes.
Obviously who you are, like your role as a mother or whatever comes out on air, etc. But it allows you just a couple of hours to just be authentically you. This is what I like. This is what I love to do. It's very important to take time out, especially to travel, to have moments for yourself. And like I say, not everybody can afford to travel, but to just take even a couple of hours a week just to tap into who you are. Right?
Sometimes for me, I don't know if you've ever done it before, where you sit in your car when you get here and you give yourself those 10 minutes of just, okay, let's do this.
So for me, I don't have the time in the morning to do that. But when I get home, I do.
You do it.
Or sometimes if the kids, specifically if they're home in the holidays, and the holidays just feel like they go forever and you're constantly going, right? I sometimes I'll just take an extra, maybe like drive around an extra 2 or 3 blocks, or just do that, just sit in your car. And I know a lot of parents who don't drive themselves, who possibly use public transport or whatever, use that time in public transport before they get home to just, breathe, take a time out, reflect on your day. And then as you walk in the door, you almost get hit with all that stuff that's coming with the day, right?
You wear many hats in your life, different roles that we may not even be aware of, being a daughter, being a sister, the list continues. How is it that you are making room for the things you're actually passionate about? I mean, there's the part of just, I need to regroup that in the car, but then there's the part that's actively filling your cup, not just protecting your peace, the one that's lighting the fire in you.
So, obviously everybody on this radio station knows me as the sports reader from Bongani Bengo's show in the morning.
Yes.
But outside of that, I've taken my work hours, I know I'm very fortunate and blessed to work until I leave here approximately 10:30 every morning. And after that, I thought, what can I do to fill my days? And for me, I had to work hard to get a university exemption. I didn't get it straight away. I had to get a gap year. I really wanted to be a child psychologist. And my mom was like, why do you want to go to bed with other people's problems?
Wow.
So I did it, but I had already started at Prime Media in my first year after school. So that's where the broadcasting comes from. But what I've done in the interim, in the last maybe I'd say 5 to 10 years, is I've gone, hang on a second. I actually do want to be some sort of, now I can't go study psychology full time because I'm a mother and I have a job. So I've studied counseling and I'm a counselor, and I'm studying life coaching, which I will be completing at the end of this year. And I started my Teen Junction podcast because that is a podcast for parents of teenagers. So they can listen to that and go, hang on a second. So I've gone, how can I help other parents in this situation? Then once hopefully I've qualified by the end of the year, I'm going, okay, cool. I'm going to life coach teenagers because that's what I want to do. I want to show them that. Because when you're a teenager, when you're an adolescent from the age of 11 to 24, everything feels like the end of the world. And especially in such a chaotic world where we've got so much social media and everything's just magnified and amplified so much. I want to go, hang on, come see me. Let's breathe. Let's go through it. Let's set your life goals. Let's work through this together. It's not all doom and gloom. So for me, that is, I mean, outside of watching live sport when I can, because it's my absolute favorite thing to do. But how can I help others? How can I coach others? How can I counsel others? That is who I am. That is what I wanted to do from the beginning. And granted, I might not have done it when I was in my 20s. I'm getting to it when I'm in my 40s because I learned something very important from a lady that actually did reflexology for me. She was a reflexologist, she was a psychologist, and she had worked at the SABC. She had had 3 careers in her lifetime. And she was 60, and I went, you mean we don't have to stay in one job? I don't have to have a podcast about sport. Oh, I don't have to just stay in the sport kind of persona and bubble. I can be a mom. I can be a sports anchor. And I can also be a podcast host. And I can also be a life coach for teenagers. I can be anything I truly want to be because there is no limit to what you want to be.
The reason I'm smiling so widely, and if you want to see how big the smile is and also see Cindy Poluta, we are streaming live on YouTube. Head over to the 702 channel and you'll be able to see 702 afternoons there. But the reason I'm smiling so widely about what you are sharing is it reminds us that, number one, it's never too late to follow your passions, especially because now in your 40s, you are an adult who has agency and can advocate for themselves. And it doesn't matter that your parents said when you were younger, don't do this. It's funny, earlier I was having a conversation with someone who is like, the way you're so in this industry, I'm sure your parents supported you. I said, oh no, they did not. They did not want me going to art school. They wanted me to be this solid academic that was going to be an actuary because I was quite great at your maths and science. But the moment I was able to be like, actually, I'm a grown girl at 17, I'm going to do this thing. Now, I didn't have to wait for parents to be behind me. At this age, I can say, actually, there were these other things I wanted to do and explore. There are these other things I wanted to try out. Even the part, I mean, as you were saying, you want to coach and counsel teenagers. I'm like, you so fit that so perfectly. You have a certain tone in how you speak. And also, I think you are so understanding. And being a mom to teenagers and understanding the kind of challenges that they face in this very loud world filled with 10 million distractions, you understand how important the confidence part is to who they're going to grow up to be. What would you say are unique challenges that are faced by young girls and teenage girls? I'm at the stage where I'm thinking about schools for my son, and I'm a non-co-ed fan. Okay. I went to an all-girls school. My brothers went to all-boys schools, and I'm like, there were never distractions of boys. It was all about academics, but in the extracurriculars, we mingled with other sexes. But I'm curious, for you, like, what do you think is unique for teenage girls?
So I think, and I've said this I often say this, I don't think the problems that that our teenagers have today are different to the problems that we had growing up. I think just the tools or the distractions are different. So, back in the day, and I remember this very clearly, I wrote a love letter to a boy. I was in grade 11. I thought he was the absolute bee's knees. And I was like, I'm going to put it all out there. I think he likes me. What have I got to lose? And 2 days later, a friend of mine phoned because he was at an all-boys school. And he said, your love letter was put on the pinboard at school. And my friend walked up.
I'm dying.
Right? You're dying. I wanted to die. Now, in 2025, there's no difference to that and what your children put on social media being recorded and shared. The only difference is it's for a much wider audience. So the problems haven't changed. Just the way in which they play out in society have changed.
Can the earth swallow us both? Because I'm feeling. So I never wrote a letter to a boy, but I think that the boys knew, because again, girls and boys school, they knew that I liked him. And then he wrote a letter to me to basically be like, you're embarrassing yourself by liking me, something along those lines. And funny story, we became really good friends, like outside of school, and we'd hang out.
Right.
And he gave me the biggest apology about like the pressure of being around boys. So
Yeah.
I want to ask now, I know this is all about the woman, but I want to ask, being a parent, what do you observe with regards to the interactions? Sorry,
Yeah.
my English bundles are depleted today.
Yeah.
The interactions between boys and girls in a way that can still be empowering for young girls. And we say young girls, but this can also be your 21-year-old, your 22-year-old, being those teenage girls that we're speaking of that faced public humiliation and rejection. What would you say to those girls?
I find in conversations I've had with teenagers, because I've had the privilege of counseling at schools. Teenage girls today are a lot more confident in who they are. And I think it's got to do with the role models that surround them. Teenage girls have better role models than we did, because women are now standing up and women are successful, and we're celebrated on platforms, and they are empowered themselves. And it's quite interesting to hear teenage girls say, well, if he doesn't like me, it doesn't matter, because I'm only 16. It's not like we're going to get married. I mean, it is what it is. It was nice. I mean, it's obviously heartbreaking, but it's almost, I see more of a sisterhood and more of a friendship means everything as girls than what we had growing up. It felt more competitive when we were growing up. And I'm seeing more empowered, because let's be honest, there are more women in the workplace now. There are more role models in the workplace. There are more confident women in the workplace now. And so if you want your daughter to be empowered, you have to be the woman that you would like her to be. In life, you have to be the parent that you have to be the adult that you want your child to be.
Because
You
children
can't-
learn by seeing and not by hearing what you tell them to do.
You can't say to your child, well, you know what, but you're going to be strong and independent, but at home, you're not that same person. You have to be that adult for your child, be it a boy or a girl, because if you're raising a boy, he also needs to see a strong woman in the house. Right?
Oh, we need to take a break. When we come back, we continue.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings.
8 to midnight.
You said that some people believe that the clinics and hospitals are overcrowded.
I'm on public record that you can't have people that we don't know who they are in our own country, where they come from. We can't document them, and we don't know their activities. That's a major security risk. But if we want to resolve that matter with a piecemeal approach of saying we are closing clinics and hospitals, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I don't think that we are dealing with the problem. Illegal immigration does not mean people that are coming from Africa alone.
Premier of Gauteng, Banyana Lesotho.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Don't miss out on the Powerball jackpot, estimated at a mind-blowing 124 million rand this Tuesday. That is today. Dare to dream big by playing Powerball now for the estimated 124 million rand jackpot and your chance at multi-millions. Buy your tickets now in store on nationallottery.co.za, the mobile app, cell phone banking, or simply dial *120 *7529 hash for USSD. Panda Pusher Play. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. Ituba is the proud operator of the National Lottery.
And there you go, your favorite latte, hot and ready.
You never disappoint.
Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, cool. Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
Choose Checkers, SA's #1 value for money supermarket, and save on Lancewood cheddar or Gouda cheese, 900 grams for $139.99. E45 dermatological body cream, 500 grams for $229.99 each, and Parmalat Everfresh long life milk, 1 liter 6-pack, any 3 for 269 rand. Valid until this Sunday at Checkers, Checkers Hyper, or shop on 6060.
Franchise your future with the vision to invest, the mindset to follow a proven system, and the drive to grow something of your own. Meet the minds behind smart investments and proven franchise success on Franchise Your Future with me, Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters on 702. Plus, you could win 10,000 Rand and kickstart your journey to franchise your future. Hit primemediaplus.com now. Then, every Tuesday from 1 p.m., catch Franchise Your Future on afternoons with Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters, your money, your momentum on 702. Let's walk the talk.
702.
Series Edition.
We continue with our series edition at 25 minutes after 2 o'clock with Cindy Poluta, our dear friend and colleague, who you get to listen to on Bongani Bingwa's show and across the road. By the road, I mean in our building. You just walk down the road at 947 on the Breakfast Club or Breakfast with Anele. And we have really just been talking in this hashtag Fem Effect movement with Femagene, and particularly around rediscovering yourself while raising others. And we also touched on the fact that kids learn by mirroring. So you really have to be the parent or the adult that you would like your child to become. What has been some of the most difficult parts of demonstrating and teaching self-care by demonstrating it? Because if your children never see you take care of yourself, but you tell them to rest, they will probably not rest because they see you not resting. Or all of those different things. Are you guilty of this?
No, I'm guilty of doing the opposite. I'm always sleeping. Because of the hours that we work, I'm always sleeping. But I'll give you an example. So just this week, I went and had my nails done, and I got nail art. And my daughter said to me, "Mom, you've never had nail art." And I said, "I know, it's such a girly thing. I can't believe I did it. I got nail art." And they were both like, "That is so cool." And so today they were like,
Hold them up, ma'am.
Right.
Yes. Okay, it is like a bright pink.
It's just a start.
And it's got some glitter and it's a vibe.
I'm not going all out yet. This is new for me, but they saw me try something new that's not me. And I've always said to them, everything in life is permanent except a tattoo. So, you can have whatever painted on your nails and it can be taken off. Anything in life can be fixed. Anything in life can be changed. I can help you with anything in life.
Oh,
except I've said to them, drug addiction.
Yes,
I can't get you. That's that's very, very serious. But we went to is it called Graskop up there in Mpumalanga, where you do that big swing?
Yes.
And we drove up there, and the whole week I'd said to my kids, all I want to do is that big swing. I just want to do that big swing. And we got there, and I said, "Oh, I don't know."
Because it's scary when you walk.
It's high up. Yeah. And we got there and my husband said, "Okay, well, if you're not going to do it, let's leave." And the girls looked at me and they both said, because I've got 2 teenage daughters, and they both said to me, "But we came all this way for you to do the swing. Now I can't chicken out." I had to be that brave woman that I'm constantly telling them about.
They're watching.
And that's why they are always watching. And I had to, let's throw myself off the side of a cliff. It was so terrifying. But to teach them that sometimes you have to do stuff that is completely out of your comfort zone because it's what you want to do. You have to step past that fear.
So the hashtag Fem Effect is more than just stuff about hygiene.
Yeah.
And feminine hygiene, which is what Femagene is all about. They're also just looking at ways to get young girls to step into their power, build their confidence. What can you share with everybody, society as a whole, is the most important thing we can do as a community to empower our young girls? Because I do think sometimes things get lost in conversations that we have, but what can we do to take ownership of the young girls in our communities?
I think, firstly, let's take away the stigma of menstruation. I think it's very important. Half of the world's population is menstruating at any point in time. And I think we need to start having conversations where we normalize it. Normalize how women feel, what women go through. Have those conversations with your daughter. It's not a taboo thing. It's a natural thing. It's like sweating. It is natural. We need to start making more of women's experiences just part of everyday conversation. It's not a taboo thing.
And then message to the moms, what would you share with fellow moms out there, especially those that are feeling like they're not doing a great job, that feeling like they are failing, which I think is a feeling we all go through regularly in different moments?
I always say to parents and moms, if you're worried that you're a bad parent, that already makes you a good parent. The fact that you're worrying that you might be getting it wrong means you care. So that's step one. Step two, your child is unique. Parent them in your own way. Don't go onto a Facebook group and ask everybody for their advice on what they would do, because nobody knows your child. You're showing them a slice of your life. Try not to keep up with everybody else on Instagram, because that is not real. That is not life. You do you in your own way with your own family. And don't be afraid to ask your kids, how am I doing as a parent? And be ready for the feedback without arguing or shouting. Just have that conversation. Open that door. Say, how am I doing? Almost like a KPA. How am I doing as a parent? And be willing to take the feedback. What am I doing great? What am I not doing great? What would you prefer? But listen and don't have an answer. And then that's it.
Do you see why she's a life coach, guys? You see? Her life is together. So when you are officially qualified, we are getting your first interview, yes?
Amazing. I love that. I'm so happy that I came on the show today. I was so excited when I got the call. I was like, yes, of course.
I'm excited for you, and I cannot wait to just get an opportunity for young people to start to be empowered. And I have to read a message from Vanessa, who says, I've always enjoyed Cindy sharing her wisdom and gold nuggets on Bongane's show, even though it's only for a few minutes. Now we are spoiled to hear more on your show. Loving the conversation. And another one says, please thank Cindy for me. I've been struggling with incorporating TV and film production into my career. It's something I loved before entering the radio industry. And at my age, I felt lost. Now I feel empowered to work hard and pursue this passion that I love. Guys, she's coming back. We're going to be booking her, making sure young people are empowered. Cindy Poluta, I love you. I love you. I love you.
I love you more. Thank you so much for having me.
Just after 1:30. And being a woman means showing up through every high and low and still finding your strength. Femigene supports that with pH-balanced intimate washers and wipes designed for your body's everyday comfort and care. And through the hashtag #FemEffect, every product helps provide a menstrual cup to a woman who needs one. Along with education and support, it's about care that starts with you and reaches someone else too. Because when women support each other, confidence becomes a movement. That's the Femigene hashtag #FemEffect. Just after 2:30, time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. A very good afternoon. Opposition parties have voiced their unhappiness at having an ANC member elected as the chairperson of Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police corruption. The ANC's Soviet Lekganyane was elected unopposed to lead the ad hoc committee during its first meeting today. The committee is probing allegations made by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. Parliament is set to restart the process to appoint 5 new commissioners to the Commission for Gender Equality as soon as next month. It follows Friday's damning Constitutional Court ruling, which set aside the 2023 appointments due to inadequate public participation. And China is experiencing an alarming outbreak of a mosquito-borne virus known as chikungunya. Since last month, more than 7,000 cases of the virus have been reported across the country. On Sunday, Hong Kong reported its first case, which was a 12-year-old boy who travelled to the city of Foshan and later developed a fever, rash, as well as joint pain. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in Durban, deep heading towards Rudeport, Joburg area, Randfontein Road is heavily backed up. This is between Corlett Avenue and Miles Stalker. There's also slow-moving traffic. That's if you're traveling through Edenvale, heading towards Bedford View on the R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. Also, slow-moving traffic heading towards Germiston, N3 southbound. N3 southbound between Linksfield Road and Van Buren. If you're heading towards Rivoli, leaving the Joburg CBD, there's slow-moving traffic on the M2 westbound between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Also look out for those faulty traffic lights in Alex, at Marlborough and Far East Bank. If you come across any other traffic issues, please SMS us on 31702. We are also on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
My name is Olina, and what I love about 702 is the Clement Banyatela show. I didn't think that I would see Clement today.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
Enjoy the soothing sounds of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra at the opening concert of their early spring symphony season under the baton of popular conductor Ariantine, featuring dynamic classical trumpeter Dingan Chabalala. The program includes Bizet's Carmen Suite and Dvorak's Popular Symphony No. 6, Thursday the 7th of August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets available through Quicket.
Hollywood Bets is bringing you a bounty of prizes with Spina Zonke prize drops. Gear up to unravel an endless supply of treasures and claim fantastic riches with a chance to win an amazing share of 2.5 million rand in cash and prizes. All you have to do is bet 2 rand or more on selected pragmatic play games on Mondays, Tuesdays and Thursdays between 12:30 p.m. and 10:30 p.m. Feel the ultimate thrill when you log in for a spin and bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
It all starts with FNB Private. Diversify your portfolio to grow your wealth. Gain global exposure through shares or unit trusts on the FNB app. Tap into international investments and tax-efficient offshore trusts to build your legacy. Unlock invaluable with FNB Private. Help changes everything. FNB, a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized FSB and credit provider. FNB International Trustees, FNB IT registration number 3080. Licensed by the Guernsey Financial Services Commission to conduct fiduciary business. T's and C's apply.
Coming up
On 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up with John Perlman from 3 to 6 p.m. One day you guys will get the opportunity to hear these off-air conversations and wonder, why are they giggling? Because we actually have fun, guys, like together. We have fun. John Perlman, I wanted to ask you, earlier we were talking about the most neglected suburbs, townships in Gauteng.
Mm-hmm.
And a gentleman had shared that Randburg is in the gutters.
Yeah,
It used
I
to be
heard
this
that,
way, and then it was Vaal. What have you seen that you feel like, this particular suburb or city or township used to be a certain way, but now it's just completely terrible?
So, good afternoon, everyone. I think my mind, Relebogile, tends to go to where I've lived, particularly in my adult life. So, Yeovil, I lived a lot in Yeovil and Berea. So, I've seen aspects of those areas that suggest they're not being looked after properly at all. I lived in Judith's Paarl, which I don't really visit much, except if I'm going to Ellis Park for rugby, and then I look to park in the side streets, and that doesn't look like it's been taken particularly good care of, although there is now this Ellis Park precinct. But I lived a bit further away, going east towards OR Tambo. Where else have I lived? I've moved around a fair bit, but those areas sort of catch my eye, I must say.
And then what do you use to measure that a place is neglected? I mean, obviously, a lot of the listeners were speaking to water, sewage, rubbish, and waste. What do you look at? Do you also consider like safety, for example?
Yeah, I think those would come into it. I think rubbish piled up on a street is obviously just utterly dismaying for the people who live there, but also who would like their children to be able to go out and hang out in the neighborhood, do stuff, throw balls around, play cricket or whatever it is that kids like to do. And then the extreme version of that, of course, is water running down the street and sewage. I mean, I think sewage, it's just unimaginable that people could be expected to live like that. I think it's also the maintenance of buildings, a lot of boarded up shops. If there was lively commerce in the area, small business especially, if that looks like it's either struggling or already on its knees, those would be the kind of things that stand out for me. And then most obviously, infrastructure stolen, stop signs, robots vandalized, potholes. I think that's a pretty comprehensive list from my point of view.
I would also say you can judge by the area's parks.
Yes.
Because I think those are the early ones to go.
Yeah.
And I've seen in your more affluent areas where the community has taken a stand for their parks and partnered up using their own money and raised funds to not just fence them to control, but they've tried to upgrade it in a way that they can actually safely go with their kids. For me, the parks is a big one. But what's coming up on your show, John?
So coming up on the show, and a very good afternoon to you. A couple of things, I suppose, away from all the politics, although we'll be covering that. We've got Mongezi Koko out in Barberton at the mine with the illegal miners and the court cases that have been flowing out of the action taken by police and by the mining company. But Peter Kutsia is a real star of South African swimming. He picked up 3 medals at the recent World Championships in Singapore, a gold and 2 silvers. We're going to speak to his high school coach. I always love those interviews where you go back in the career of a star and talk to somebody who, A, played a role in shaping them, but also can tell us what is it that they saw. Because there are lots of promising 13-year-olds. There are very few stars at 19 or 20. So that's an interview I'm looking forward to. I'm going to have to invent my own beep unless you've got one handy. But do you remember there was the woman who was riding a bicycle on a wide, huge open field? And she was riding a bicycle, and somehow in the midst of, she could have gone 2,571 different directions, but she managed to ride into a pole. And then her mother, very memorably, was caught on her cell phone recording saying, "May beep Marlies." Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember. And people use that audio quite a bit.
Oh, people use the audio, people use the expression. Anyway, it's been made into a movie.
No.
It's been made into a movie, but obviously not just that incident, but there's a whole back story, first of all, on the mother and Marlies. By the way, Marlies is not her surname, and the other bit is not her first name. Her name is Marlies. But apparently it's a very poignant and powerful mother and daughter story. So we're going to talk to the screenwriter. And I'm really looking forward to that conversation. Tuesdays, it's Tuesday today, yeah. Tuesdays we do Green Tip of the Week. We do it with Volvo. And today we're looking at fast fashion and the ecological impact of that.
I'm so looking forward because I always find it fascinating when screenwriters see an opportunity for a story beyond just those few seconds of a viral clip that everybody
Build
watched.
Outwards. It sounds great.
7:02 Drive with John Perlman coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
7:02.
The car feature.
At 18 minutes to 3 o'clock, time for our car feature. Get in touch with us, 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. We are joined by Nicole Lowe, our technical car expert. Not only can you start to get your questions in early for your vehicles and your technical car issues, but we also will be chatting about how software engineers calibrate car engines to reduce warranty costs. So your questions and comments 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Nicole, happy Tuesday. How are you?
Hi, Relebogile. All good, thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for this one because I'm always curious about the calibrating of car engines and how that works.
So in my previous life, I was actually a calibration engineer.
Hi,
I worked for Ford in the UK for almost 5 years. So the two stories I want to tell is quite interesting because, warranty cost is a big thing for the OEMs. And if there's cost, obviously during the warranty period, it hurts the bottom line tremendously. But how would the OEM prove that the driver or the owner of the vehicle didn't mess up and how they had to pay for it? So I'll give you two examples. I'm getting clever. The one example is starter motor abuse. So we had a situation on, it was actually Ford Transit back in the day, where the brand new vehicles will end up with a burnout starter, and they couldn't explain this. Even at dealer forecourts, they were replacing starters left, right, and center, and couldn't understand why do they have such a massive warranty cost on starter motors. And then what eventually panned out was when these vehicles leave factory, they've got minimum level of fuel in them, obviously to save cost. So a couple of liters in there, and these vehicles get started and driven maybe to the ship and gets driven to the truck and to the forecourt and maybe moved around. And at some point, if you put in too little fuel in the factory or in the plant where they build, they run out of diesel. And they found out, okay, if it's a manual vehicle and you're in first gear and your clutch is out, and you can actually drive it on the starter motor. You don't have to fuel it. So they continued cranking it and driving it on the starter motor, even up transported trucks and all of that. And that's how they managed to burn out the starter, because it was never intended to move the vehicle on the starter motor. So as a software engineer, what we did was we only allowed you a certain time to crank the engine. So, for example, you'll get maybe 10 seconds. So you're trying to start the engine, it starts cranking, you get 10 seconds, and then it will shut off the cranking. And it will give you that for 3 times. You get 3 times of 10 seconds, and then it disables the whole starting event for half an hour. Because if it didn't start for 10 seconds cranking 3 times in a row, then there's definitely something wrong. That cranking wouldn't help. And that sort of reduced the warranty cost immediately. The starter motor warranty cost disappeared because people realized, oh shucks, we can't drive it on the starter motor anymore because we've got limited time of doing this and then we're stuck anyway. So let's rather just fuel the vehicle and drive it as it's supposed to drive. So that was the one event. The other one was engine warranty cost when the whole engine just got massive mechanical damage. And what actually happened is on a commercial vehicle like a Transit, they used to be all manual. Now today, a lot of these vehicles are automatic. But in the days with a manual, first of all, you've got a ref limiter to limit the maximum amount of revs that you can get out of a motor. So even if you put your foot flat, you don't shift gear, you will bounce off the ref limiter at the red line, and it shouldn't cause damage to the engine. But what will cause a damage to the engine is if you accelerate, say you accelerate hard in third gear up to the red line and you're trying to hook fourth gear, but you actually go for second, then you over-rev the engine to the point where it just self-destruct. And the problem was that you get these warranty costs of the engine is gone. You've got no evidence to point to the abuse of the driver of a misshift. So what we did as calibration engineers, we obviously know where the red line of the engine is. Say it's a diesel engine and it's around 4.5 or 5,000 RPM max. You'll put a fault code in there that will set if that engine revolutions go above, say, 6,000 RPM, because there's no way that you can get to that point without a misshift. So what happened is, okay, the guy will contact the OEM and say, I've got a blown engine. And the OEM will just plug in their tool, they will read and say, there's a fault code here, it's set because your engine RPM went 1,000 RPM above the red line. The only way you could do it is a misshift. So the warranty cost, it gets denied, and the owner or the client then has to pay for the engine replacement. So you can imagine what warranty cost was saved just with that little software tweak and a fault code that would set for something like this.
So what would you recommend that listeners do with that?
Well, first thing, if you drive a manual, don't misshift your car. That's a big no-no. So be careful especially when you're driving at high engine RPMs and you're going for the next gear. Don't go a gear down, go a gear up. Otherwise, there will be big problems. That's solved with automatic transmissions. With automatic transmission, you can't actually do a misshift. So if you're driving an auto car, then you're fine. And then starter motor abuse, it doesn't help just cranking the engine if it's not firing. Then it's either out of fuel or there's something else that's desperately wrong. So the starter motor is designed for a certain amount of cranking, then it heats up and eventually it will burn out. So just be sensitive.
All right, we're going to take a break. Nicole, when we come back, we're going to take all of the technical car questions and any questions also around this software where engineers that are using this calibration in engine control units of vehicles. 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
And there you go, your favorite latte, hot and ready.
You never disappoint.
Listen, did you see that email? God, it's going down. Let's catch up later. Got another Zoom meeting.
Oh, okay, cool. Later.
Meet our audience. They are working, living their lives, sharing stories, and always listening. So if you're going to interrupt them, it better be good. Prime Media Broadcasting Sales. We help you connect with every productive, innovative, and dynamic individual in our audience. From the open plan office to the executive suite. Contact us at advertise@primemedia.co.za today.
Did you know that the CSIR International Convention Center has over 40 years' experience in hosting international, local, and national business events? Located on a tranquil campus in Pretoria East within the Knowledge Hub and Science Diplomacy Capital, the city of Tshwane. This fit-for-purpose convention center is ideal for your association, congress, or other business events. For more information, visit csiricc.co.za. The CSIR International Convention Center, where smart minds meet.
What is Overtrail? Is it off the beaten path, over the edge of comfort, or the thrill of the road less taken? It's over every bridge, every obstacle, every trail, and over to that view that takes your breath away. Overtrail means going further, exploring deeper, surrounded by the comfort and sophistication of a luxury SUV. It's this spirit that inspired the Overtrail project. Experience Overtrail in the LX and GX range. Lexus. Experience amazing.
702.
The car feature.
9 minutes to 3 o'clock, and we continue with our car feature. We're together with our technical car expert, Nicole Lowe, and we are opening the lines up to all of your technical car issues that you may be having. Give us a call, 011 883 0702, and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. And Nicole, we have our very first one that is as follows. Good day, I'm driving an E300 Mercedes, which has done just below 100,000 kilometers and has developed a problem with the catalytic converter. What is the best cost-effective way to fix the problem? That's from Bonnie. Oh, Nicole, we need to know what a catalytic converter is.
Okay, the catalytic converter sits in the exhaust of a vehicle. It's a brick coated with some very expensive materials, platinum and so on. And the idea is that it converts some of the poisonous exhaust gases to something that's not so bad and harmful for the environment. But these devices can get what they call poisoned, and they don't work anymore. So there's some sensors that pre and post this catalytic converter that can sort of see if something went wrong. It will set a light on an instrument cluster, and it should set a code if it went wrong. So the warranty on that for the OEM, that will be dramatic if it's still under the warranty period, because it's a quite expensive component. You can talk about upwards of 30,000 Rand, 40,000 Rand, even more for a component like that if you buy it new from the OEM. So I would say if the vehicle is obviously in warranty, it's not your problem, it's Mercedes' problem. If it's outside warranty, then definitely take it for a second opinion, because sometimes the sensors pre and post that diagnose this can also be wrong. It's not always just the catalytic converter. So obviously try to see if there's something cheaper to fix than the catalytic converter. The right thing to do is obviously to replace it with OEM part, and then you go to the environment and all is well again. But there is a way of bypassing a catalytic converter. We can just cut it out, basically, put a straight through pipe. Some of the guys doing racing and so on, they like to do it because it lessens the back pressure, you get a bit more power. But now you have to fool the engine control unit in thinking that there's still a catalytic converter there, because obviously otherwise it will set faults and maybe put you in limpo mode. So that is almost the off-the-record way of fixing the issue at a reduced cost, but then you're bad to the environment. So I'll leave it up to the owner's conscience.
All right, thank you so much for that question that came through. One says, hi Relebogile, may you kindly ask Nicolo if the software used for calibrating cars is standard or different manufacturers use different softwares like cars from China. That's from Khabirwa.
Yeah, that's a good question. Remember, the ECU, the engine control unit of a car, is basically a computer which runs on software. So if you see them, you can Google ECU. It's like a little box part, normally metal housing, a very expensive part, by the way, with the control units inside, with a processor and all of that. And it's also loaded with software. Basically, you all have a couple of companies doing these control units for the automotive world. So not every OEM will have their own one. You'll have a Bosch system, for example. We have a Continental system. You'll have a Siemens system. So it might be that your Chinese manufacturers are also using some of these systems, but I would guess they will probably start using their own system soon because they've got the capability of doing it. That computer or that ECU is a very, very robust unit. It's not like your desktop or your laptop that will give you a blue screen or with sometimes something goes wrong. It's a very robust system. It needs to be able to run at elevated temperatures because it's normally under the bonnet somewhere, and even in the cold, minus temperatures, it still needs to run. So another warranty story I have is at some point they were replacing some of these ECUs of a certain vehicle model, and they were costing in the region of, even to the OEM, like €1,000 at the time. I'm talking about 20 years ago. That's a lot of money for the OEM to spend. And the reason was that when something went wrong, especially with cars with all the modern sensors and so on, the technicians will say, no, it's definitely the ECU. It must be the ECU. And they just replace the ECU under warranty. And then sometimes the fault comes back again because it was mostly linked to sensors or other faults. And they will blame the ECU because the ECU want to blame the computer. And eventually what the OEMs had to do is they had to put all these questionnaires and things in place that you have to run through to prove that it's actually the ECU that's faulty, not one of the sensors and so on. And from experience, I can tell you the ECUs very, very rarely fail. So if you have a claim for a new ECU or there's a warranty for a new ECU, it won't be easily approved because they're very robust.
All right, thank you so much for that question that has come through. Nicolo, we're going to have to leave it there until we are back together. Next time, we will be able to take on other technical car issues.
When you empower a woman, you empower a whole nation. Women have a remarkable way of multiplying whatever is placed in their hands. This August, we're celebrating Women's Month with the theme Building Resilient Economies for All. We reflect and honor the courageous women of 1956 who took a stand against the injustices of the past. We also recognize and celebrate all South African women who continue to lead, build, and inspire across every part of our society, from business and education to peace building and beyond. Yes, there is still much to be done. The pursuit to achieving total gender equality and empowerment will continue until every woman is able to enjoy the benefits of a safe and just society. #Rekaufela Basadi. #Women's Month 2025. A message by the National Department of Sport, Arts and Culture.
Selling your car shouldn't be a mission. We Buy Cars gets it. Life's short and time is precious. Get an offer online and sell your car within a day from wherever it suits you. It's literally, really that simple with We Buy Cars. Shopping for your new ride? Discover thousands of vehicles online or in store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted way to buy and sell cars.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult day 3731. I'm really struggling to explain my parents to my therapist. Might send him to live with them so he can see for himself. What if he ends up in therapy too? Wait, what if they love him more than me?
Finally learning about mental health. Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's convenient and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Relebogile is on X at Relebogile M.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons for today's show. I think a very big part of the conversation was around all of these neglected cities, suburbs and townships. And there were so many messages we did not get to. But what I hope we are able to do is have a conversation on one of these upcoming days about what we can do about it. And maybe what we can do without it is without government's help and without needing to be rich. And I don't know what that solution could or can look like. There was a message that had come through where the person was speaking specifically around in Russia and what they have observed and seen. And maybe a part of our conversation is to look at the countries that are getting it right without a whole lot of money, without so many other things. Like the person who said the first time I went to Russia in 2012 was seeing that cleaning staff at the hotel malls and streets. There was just so much that was happening there, but also having traveled, there are places where they are getting it right with maintaining and keeping up with their places looking amazing. But thank you so much for joining us. It's 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
The community around the Sheba gold mine is not optimistic about the fight against illegal mining, and rifles have been recovered at a Randfontein shootout. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Community members near the Sheba gold mine say the crackdown on illegal mining will fail